Hello and welcome to our fall version of the Hamilton Township Coach's Corner. My name is Rich Fisher with WBCB, and we are here to get a preview of all the fall varsity teams in the Hamilton Township School District this year. We will talk to each coach of every varsity team, see how they break things down, see what their hopes are, see what their concerns are. They don't have to tell us their concerns if they don't want, but, we will probe. And, we're just going to get a little outlook on how things are going to go. And our first guest of the show are these fine-looking gentlemen, the boys soccer coaches from left to right. We have Hamilton West John Iorio, Nottingham Sean Fitzpatrick, and Steinert's Anthony Tessine. Welcome, fellas. It's good to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yep. Good to be here.
And let's start with you, John. First-year coach. You are first year as a head soccer coach. You're not a stranger to the program. You've coached the JV for the last couple of years. It's great to have you aboard. You had mentioned to me that you're familiar with all the varsity players from having coached them on JV. Tell us what we can expect from them.
Right. So it really was a good path, I think, for me to, move up from JV to varsity. Knowing all the kids, I know their play styles, I know them personally. I know what positions, they prefer. And just to get them to know, on a personal level as well, the connection is there. And I think I was able to, skip a few steps already knowing them. If I was coming in, wasn't familiar with the program, I'd have to spend days, weeks getting used to them, but it's been really great and just a natural kind of flow with the program. Kind of feel like I moved up with them, and it's been great. It's been great so far. Still trying to build, expectations, how we do things, but again, things that I took from JV, I'm bringing up, and they already know how I am, and I know how they are.
Right. Now, you had mentioned to me earlier you have four seniors that you're really high on who are going to provide leadership. Why don't you tell us who they are, where they'll be playing, and what you're expecting from them?
Yeah, so Jordan Bird, I coached him all 4 years now. Just an absolute workhorse in the back. I could play him, feels like the whole game, doesn't ever want to come out. Just a great kid, a great leader in the back, just somebody that you always want in that back line. And then my next one's Sergio Cano, who, we were kind of up in the air. He was dealing with some injuries years prior, but he has looked phenomenal since he's come out. A late addition. I didn't know if he was going to come out and play, but he's going to be up at the top for me, and is, I know, going to make a huge impact his senior year. And then I have Ant Paredes. He's been a workhorse. Yeah, I could play him anywhere. He's probably got the best boot on the team. He's a workhorse. He could play midfield. He could play in the back. He could do anything for me. He's a Renaissance man, and he is the leader. He's the captain of this team. And then John Ramos, who I'm also extremely excited about. Didn't play last year, got him this year, and he's grown so much. I knew him as a freshman, and from freshman year to senior year, it's been awesome to see him grow as a player, as a person, and he's going to have a huge impact as well. So I also have Carlos Rueda, who I've coached all 4 years as well, and he is a glue guy. He is somebody who you can count on for leadership. You don't have to give him 40 minutes of playing time. 50. He is the same kid always. Doesn't matter what his role is. And they're leading this group. They're leading the 12th graders. I couldn't have asked for a better first group in my first year. Okay. Any other guys that you might be high on? Any newcomers? Not so much newcomers. A lot of my sophomores that I had. So Davis Ciavice Niola, I think he's one of the best kids in the county. He's a 10th grader. He's going to be a huge impact for me. Santiago Lora, he's 11th grade. He's one of my midfielders, another workhorse I know that I can count on. And then, I was not going to just not play young guys if I had them. I know sometimes, people are afraid. High school games are really physical, but, I have a few freshmen, Harry Dodd, Romeo Tyson. They're going to make impacts for me, and they're freshmen. So it's really exciting to see, these young kids grow with the program as well. Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, you and I talked earlier this week. Your program's trying to end a lot of years of losing and frustration. Now, you played on some winning. You've coached and played on some winning baseball teams at Hamilton West.
what you understand winning. What has to happen to change this culture?
It starts away from the playing field, honestly, and that's what I'm. Coach Mike Mosseri, he's with me. Can't escape him. But, he was my coach since I was 12. Everything I've learned coaching-wise, a lot I learned as a player is because of him. So, he's been helping me out this year. And like I said, it's something as simple as, a guy there knowing who's getting water, who's getting the soccer balls ready, the cones, showing up 15 minutes before practice, having your cleats on when we're ready to go. And it seems simple, but a lot of teams don't do it. And West has struggled with small things like that these past few years. And, it's the honeymoon phase. It's week 1. But I'm really excited to see how the kids have responded. And it's always, even though I've coached a lot of these kids, it's tough for a coaching change at the top. And they've really they've adjusted well. They really have.
Well, they've had a lot. They've had 4, in the last 11 years. So, ever since Fitz and Goose Loreni left, there's been a lot of change. And, you address that, too, that you would like to become the face of this program and give them some continuity. So when you break it all down, what are your hopes for this year? What do you think this team's capable of?
I know it's kind of the prototypical thing to say, but I'm really excited. I mean, I look at them practice. They're giving it all their practice. Like I said, those smaller things are changing. That builds a successful program away from the field. Now, our first scrimmage is tomorrow. I can't wait to see him on the field. I haven't really seen him 11 on 11 yet. It's going to take time. But I expect us to be in that conversation. I know the CVC, is a great conference. I know I'm, paired up with these great coaches with great programs. But I think we're going to make noise. I'm tired of being senior nights. That's always what I tell the kids. I'm tired of us being a senior night. We'll probably some senior nights this year, but I'm hoping next year we make enough noise to. I'm hoping this year we make enough noise to to really say we're playing West this week. We got to lock in. That's
Absolutely.
Our goal.
Absolutely. Yep. All right, Fitz. Well, we welcome you back. The prodigal son has returned after a 15-year sabbatical. Sean Fitzpatrick was Hamilton's head coach for 5 years and left after the 2009 season. Did have a stint as Allentown's JV coach. Now he is back as the North Stars head man. He got the itch again after coaching the JV team last year. Fitz,
freshman team.
My mistake. Yes, freshman team. How does it feel to be back, and how do you feel about this team, which you have a lot of guys back from a squad that went 8-12 and reached the states?
Surprisingly, I'm right back into it. I thought I was going to be worn down and be like, holy cow, this is overwhelming. I'm super excited for this group. From day one to every day I come to practice. We had off yesterday, for example, and it was nice sleeping in, but by the middle of the day, I was like, man, I can't wait to get back on Monday. This group, I think, it's a great group to work with, as John talked about, with little things like being there on time and having all your paperwork in. We've been really good with all that stuff so far. And then in terms of the practice, the kids every day come engaged. They ask questions, and when they do question, they've definitely. It seems like they've taken the suggestions and the criticism to heart and made those attempts to do the things that I'm asking them to do.
Oh, that sure helps, because there's nothing worse than a stubborn kid. So
stubborn coach too.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
My wife will vouch for that.
Yeah, we'll get to her later. I know you have a big goal scorer back in Herbert Addo. He had 12 last year, and Regino Valentin also back, 6 goals, 7 assists. Some nice guys to build around.
That's the amazing thing is, I think a lot of times when you get a new job, you step into a rebuild. I've got so many guys back this year that it's not a rebuild, and these kids know what it takes now to be successful. They made the States last year. We lost a 1-0 game where we all walked off the field like, wow, we could have won that game and made a run. And, with naming names, you name 2. I think we have 10 seniors back and 14 returning players, and it's hard to I want to say each one of them because it's amazing how far they
lay it out there, pal.
The 3 captains, Andreas Menendez, Lester Bracero, and Herb, they've stepped right to the front from day one where you walk in that first day, or who's going to lead the stretches, whatnot. I didn't have to do that. Say, hey, guys, stretch, and they're leading the charge. Guys who played a lot of minutes last year, like Angel and Edwin, Gregorio, stepped right in, and they all knew their roles. You talked about Herb being a goal scorer, and I said it to Ant. I said, there's no need to scout us, really. Like, your team better figure it out 2 minutes in the game that you better get someone on Herb because that guy's a handful. So, and then I think, like you said, with Ridge, and we got another player, Marcos Bautista, who, when the ball's on Marcos' feet, it doesn't happen a lot, I think, in like high school soccer because the ball's being bounced all over the place so much. When the ball's on Marco's feet, like, you watch, like, it's electric.
Yeah.
And then the guys in the back, like Lester Ricciero as a defender, and Jan Ortiz, who stepped in mid-year into a varsity role and started. And like I said, I'm trying to mention all the seniors, but we have like younger guys too, like Herb's brother, Ellie Ado, and then we have Wilmer Martinez, who's a junior this year. And it's amazing. It just keeps. Leon Michael steps in. He's a senior. It's amazing how many guys I have who I think, and Ethan Miller, that can step right in and do the job right off the bat for us.
Right.
A lot of times we don't necessarily have depth to a program like this, but this year I feel like I have like 18 guys who can play minutes. I've got 6 guys who are swing players who I think they'd start on a lot of varsity teams in this county, and they're going to be swinging between JV and varsity. So we're excited about how it's going to turn out.
All right. We should mention you have credited Nick Durante, who left to work with the Bob Smith Soccer Academy, with really leaving you a good program. So with that being said, can this team win this year?
I think we can be successful. I know when I started here 2 years ago, I wasn't coaching or anything, and I was walking to my car, and I saw this group getting on the bus. I was like, oh, yeah, that's good-looking freshman, sophomore team. Like, that's the varsity team. I was like, oh, my God. I was like, boy, they are going to struggle. Like, they're smaller kids. The uniforms were baggy and blousy on them. And when I stepped in as freshman coach last year, I started watching these kids. I was like, wow, what a jump. And I think a lot of that goes to Nick Durante for how much stuff he did with them in the off season and during the season, and getting them involved with other programs. Like, for example, he got Andreas and Edwin involved with PDA. He put Herb in contact with some people, and I think it's pretty selfless of him because I think this is a year where we finally have a chance to have like success. He's worked so hard with this team for him to say, I can't put 100% commitment into this and step aside. I don't think I would have done that. I think I would have finished it out but I give him credit for that, to realize that like he couldn't give that 100%. But I think he's done a great job getting this team ready. And like I said, I think we have a chance to be successful. Where that is, I don't know. But the day one, I told these kids, our goal is, every team we play, we want to make them play their best to beat us.
Right.
And I got to be honest, if we play our best, we're going to be tough to beat.
Very good. All right, moving on to Anthony Tessine, Steiner coach. Anth, coming off a 16-5 year, you got to the CJ3 finals, and outstanding defensive team last year. You lost the cornerstones of that with Elliot Morris, Jake Riley, and Dennis Tchaikovsky, your goalie. But you return a lot of guys that can put the ball in the back of the net, most notably Chris Varga. I mean, your scoring was spread out last year, but you have Varga who can score, and a lot of other guys who know how to score. Give us a little assessment of that.
Yeah, well, you're right. We lost the defensive linchpins, if you will, and goalkeeper. We're working on replacing that. Chris Vega. We're hoping he'll be back.
What I call him, Varga?
You call him Varga. It's okay. He's actually not with us at the moment, so we're a little bit in limbo on that. But we do have another Chris that people should know about, DeMarco. He mostly was an assist guy last year, but he's really stepped up into a role that looks like he's going to be a scorer for us, and he wants to be that guy, so that helps. And like you said, we got a decent crew coming back. We definitely have some holes to fill. The last 2 years, we've lost a total of 27 seniors, and yeah, it's we got to the Central Jersey final 2 years in a row, and so those are a lot of talented guys that we've lost, but this group that we've got is hungry. I know the seniors, quite a few of them were on both of those teams, and they've got a chip on their shoulder, and they want to be back, and they're looking at it legitimately like it's their last chance.
Is it a case of just guys that have been waiting to get their chance?
Yeah, so we're pretty lucky with the numbers that we have, and there's oftentimes a waiting game and paying your dues and rites of passage. So there's a lot of guys that are hungry just to get the chance to start. There's a handful of guys that are on this team that are in the mix to start that were on the team last year that barely played a minute. And I don't want to throw those names out there to embarrass them, but those guys are very hungry. They want the minutes. They know what we do, and they're from player 1 through 24. They're working hard to try to take those spots.
Okay, you don't have to tell us yet who's going to be man-marking Herb Addo. We'll let you wait for that. What about some of the guys that are back? Any other names you want to kind of toss out there?
Well, the one name you didn't mention from our defense was Ryan Chakowski. So he was part of that talented defensive unit, and he'll be back now.
Yeah, he came along well last year.
Yes, he did. And, by the end of the year, he got recognized with, the coaches' awards and all that kind of stuff, but he was absolutely overshadowed by his two line mates there. So we're going to be leaning hard on Ryan to be the best version of himself, and he's doing a great job so far. A name that doesn't get thrown out there enough would be Zach Barton. He's one of our holding center mids, and his contribution to last year's defense completely got overlooked just because of the names that were out there. So Zach will be a really important guy. There's a kid, Braden Quinn, another senior. He'll be playing on the wing for us. Just another selfless guy, put ego aside. Last year when he wasn't starting, he was the first one to say he'd run the lines and be the ball boy, and just by the end of the year we couldn't take him off the field. And we just have a lot of team guys that believe in what we're doing, and like I said, they're hungry to get back to where we were, and we'll do our best to be there again.
Will it be another case of everybody contributing with the scoring, or do you look to have a couple big scorers, or how? Yeah,
the last couple of years it seems like scoring by committee. We've got probably 4 or 5 guys that we're hoping that if all of them could score somewhere between 5 to 7 goals, we'd be pretty happy. What we've tried to do with this crew is just it's a lot of midfielders. So to say that we have the one Herb type of player that's going to be a target guy, that's just not the case. Yeah. So, we just kind of we have to piece together the attack a little bit more than maybe we'd like, or that we've had to do in the past.
Yep. Well, Steiner does have that winning tradition. I know you're going to try to keep that going this year. Also, we just want to remind everybody, or tell everybody, on September 27th, when West meets Steiner, Anthony is going to honor the late, great Steiner JV coach, Ted Kinner, who turned out so many great players that got to the varsity who were state championship players. So, Anth, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you.
Nice that you're going to be doing that, and they're going to have people talk at halftime and everything else, so that'll be something to look forward to. Fellas, I really appreciated talking to you. I wish you the best of luck this year, and I will see you out on the pitch. So,
Thanks for having us.
Class is dismissed.